Hey there everybody, this is Caitlin here and welcome to our next spoilers for Echoes of the New World. Sorry that this video didn't come up yesterday, a couple of things happened and whatnot where the video couldn't come up or whatever, but we are here today to talk about the latest spoilers and we're continuing on with the Well of Despair mechanic. Obviously last week we had two lots of Well of Hope and now we've got two lots of Well of Despair, and the first one being Gil Lapis, the usurper or however you say that word. I swear, this card game just brings up so many words that I just can't pronounce for the life of me, but I will try my best. The usurper of maddening power. It's really interesting to see that he's actually a dark and a light resonator, which I don't know if it's maybe going to be some kind of reference to Gil Al-Hamat and whatnot, because obviously thus far we have not seen any indication of Gil Al-Hamat at all in the Echoes of the New World in any kind of like trailer, any kind of picture, anything like that. So it seems to be that either he's been defeated already or he's out of the picture and Lapis is now the big bad that he was destined to be. Still need to get some kind of disclosure about the whole father-son scenario and how that came about and everything like that, but nonetheless, he is a light and a dark resonator for 3 cost, 1 dark, 1 light, and 1 void. He's 600, 700, he's a wanderer, with Will of Despair and Precision. When this card enters your field, you can search your deck for a light or darkness chant with total cost 1, reveal it and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Effects of chants you control cannot cause you to lose life. Damage causes life to reduce, not loss of life. So people were getting a little bit confused with this because obviously we saw the chant last week or whatever, or earlier on the final battle, I believe, which is like, as opposed to paying X, you can pay so much life. This card does not stop that, because obviously you are choosing to pay life in order to do that. It would mean, it was basically the stipulation would be if like a spell that you control caused you to lose life as like a stipulus for something, so like you're not like actively choosing to reduce your life to pay a cost, but you are, as a result of playing a spell, losing life, it would stop that. So the wording is a little bit confusing, but if like we'll see in a little minute. This card also gains 100 for each other resonator with Will of Despair you control. So essentially, if you want to like buff him up a little bit because he is a little bit squishy for being a 3-drop and whatnot, then I would maybe try and build him into some kind of Will of Despair deck and whatnot. I think it's pretty viable to do so. Moving on to a 1-drop spell that you can actually grab using that Lapis would be Heteroclite Excalibur, which is a chant, a 1-cost dark. It's actually an SR, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time we've seen a chant be an SR. But I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. I wonder if this means that we're, like, because obviously, if this came out in, say, the Alice Cluster days, I could see this Excalibur being a Regalia as opposed to a chant. So I wonder if maybe we're going to see some more SR chants and whatnot, or maybe even in the future SR stones. You never really know. The remove target resonator from the game, you lose 500 life. So again, this would be an example of you losing life being negated by Lapis if he's on the field, because this one is like, it's a add-on to it. So it's like, remove target resonator, you've done that, but now you have to pay 500 life, which I suppose is a good trade-off considering that you're actively removing something, although there is, I think, a lot of ways to like get rid of resonators for cheaper without the cost of losing your life. But I think it really just depends on what you prefer, honestly. The only other thing as well is that it doesn't come with quick cast, I realise, so it's not quick cast either, so it's maybe not as good as some people make it out here. But now, the moment has arrived. The time that has come that my girl, Sylvia, has come back in a blaze of glory. She is here, Sylvia, Blade of the Supreme King, and she is just looking gorgeous. This artwork, this is... my boy, Sigmund, is amazing. I actually went on Twitter and thanked Sigmund myself, saying thank you for creating this wonderful artwork again for Sylvia. And he actually liked my tweet, and he actually replied to me, and he also liked my speed color for Sylvia, and I kind of had a little fangirl geeky moment where I was just like, oh, he likes my fan art and he likes it, oh my gosh. But anyway, going back to my girl Sylvia here, she is a 2-cost, 1 wind, 1 fire. She's a 600 Will of Despair with swiftness, minion of Primogenitor. Whenever this card attacks, target J/Resonator cannot block this turn. So this is a pretty good card. I feel like once Alice Cluster rotates out and we no longer have, say, Lancelot and such, this card will get so much better, because obviously right now the go-to 2-cost 600 for fire would be Lancelot, because obviously it's got swiftness, it's got all those different triggers and whatnot and all that things. But I feel like once Alice Cluster rotates out, this Sylvia will get a lot better. She will get so much better. I love her right now, and I know that Alice Cluster is rotating out and whatnot, but I would love to try and build some kind of Sylvia like deck of some sort, just like a pure Sylvia deck, even though there's not enough Sylvia resonators. It would be Sylvia Ruler, the 2 Sylvia resonators that we've got already, any dragons that I can think of, any things that I can think of that would go with her, and I would rock that, and I absolutely adore this. I see if the normally after the set comes out, the full arts for the cards are revealed, so like the actual artworks and whatnot. I need this, and if someone can like use their magic Photoshop skills to get all the artwork of Sylvia and put it into a playmat or whatever, it would be absolutely gorgeous. I would love you forever, because obviously Sylvia is my girl. This is probably the very last time I'm going to see any kind of artwork with her on it, and I need to pay tribute to the one true Dragon Queen. And, you know, and also at the bottom here just says, welcome back, are you ready to work for me again? So I wonder if this Sylvia is similar to the Maria Bella Heroic Spirit. I wonder if she remembers what she did in order to serve Lapis, whether she feels anything, whether she is still like alive or whatnot, or whether she's just some kind of like mirage or some kind of just spirit or whatever, similar to what Maria Bella was. But I am done fangasming for this moment and whatnot. I just have to say that this artwork looks amazing. I love her and I love this card, and you bet that since it's a rare, I want like a full set of full arts for this. Next up, we have Valentina, the Crumbling Illusion, and once again, the artwork is top-notch. I absolutely adore this artwork. It looks really good. Although it kind of looks like she's got one breast bigger than the other, but I think that's just the angle of it, in all honesty. But moving on to the actual card, it is a 5 cost. It's 1 dark, 1 water, and 5 void. Oof, hella scary. She's 800, 900, which seems a little bit weak considering her cost. She is Wanderer with Will of Despair. You may pay 1 less void, so basically reducing the cost of the 5, to play this card for each resonator in your graveyard, which I feel like would work pretty well with things like maybe potentially even Feasting Turbo, like with the Gwyber one or whatever. So like say a lot of your stuff, like your little things have died, like you've Adam Brawley'd them and all that stuff. I mean, I think this would be pretty good as another way to play. At the beginning of your turn, put a resonator from your graveyard into your field. So again, that would be another good call to play this in with, say, the Feasting Turbo Gwyber build up and whatever, because then you can say Adam Brawley all your little things. You can then, because all your little things are in the graveyard, you can then stick in Valentina for, like, if you got like 5 different small resonators in your graveyard, you can play her for just 2, and then at the beginning of your turn, not the end of your turn, you can bring back one of those small things, you know, just set it up, pile it up, although she is quite a heavy cost. But see, by that point, if you've Adam Brawley'd and all that stuff and things like that, things that like mill through small resonators, like eat them up or sacrifice them and things like that, she will benefit a hell of a lot from that. And also, again, I love this artwork. It almost seems as if like Shion's body, like at the bottom there it says her true desires fell to pieces, all that remained was greed. I feel like this kind of entity on the right hand side of the screen is the actual Valentina, because we got like a glimpse, or we got like a little look into like what she truly looked like back in the lore articles when she was basically expelled from Priscia's body, and like it was described as being like a black snake-like presence or whatever that oozed out of the body and whatnot. So I think this kind of entity that's kind of like crumbling out of Shion's body here is what Valentina truly looks like, and basically this is her either losing control of the body, or the body is just disintegrating away, because I remember I think she became trapped in Schrodinger's box. I remember from the latest lore article, when she was trying to like get Black-Hearted Alice into her possession to finally have Alice and whatnot. So it seems she may have backfired. Maybe Valentina is now finally defeated. We don't know if she's going to escape that box and whatnot, but I am loving that card regardless. Next up, we have Mikage Sejiro, the Patriarch of the Vampires, and he is looking hella majestic there with his sword and his epic massive wings. Although, again, I'm going to say this again, he's a vampire without flying. So, Force of Will, you need to decide what makes a vampire fly and whatnot, because he's clearly got some big, massive wings there. I'm pretty sure he could fly if he so chose. He has a 3-cost resonator with 2 dark, 1 void. He has a quick cast resonator as well. He's 800 with Will of Despair. When this card enters your field, pay any amount of life. J/resonators your opponent controls gain minus that much attack for each 100 life paid this way until end of turn. So basically, depending on how much life you decide that you're going to lose, you can minus attack on all the things, whatever, and, you know, just hell of a lot, which is kind of helpful, like, because it's quick cast. So I'm assuming you would do this if, say, your opponent was maybe swinging with things that would really, really hurt if they hurt you. So, for example, say Jack, because obviously if Jack touches you, then they get to bring in the giant and whatnot. So that would be pretty useful. And also it hits J/Resonators, so it can hit J rulers as well. And whenever a Resonator is put into a graveyard from your opponent's field, you put a 100/100 counter on this card. So there you go. There's that Mikage counter magic, bringing its way back into it. And now he says, now then, I believe we had a score to settle. So I wonder if he's talking to Lapis, if he's who he's talking to, because the last time we saw Lapis kind of rebuffed his offer for help, for guidance and whatever. If we recall correctly, the messenger of the Mikage, Lapis, responded to him saying, oh, I don't need their help or whatever. So I wonder who Mikage has a score to settle with. Could it be Alhamat? Could it be Lapis? Could it be the heroes? Because obviously we saw Mikage have a little run-in with Feasting and Kaguya previously, so I'm curious to see whose side Mikage is truly on. Next up, we have the Mikage sisters, who are a 2-cost Resonator, 1 Darkness, 1 Void, 500 Vampire. They have Well of Despair as well, and they have several kind of tap abilities or whatever. So the first one is you can tap, destroy target Resonator with 200 or less attack. You know, pretty standard. You can tap, and this card deals 200 damage to your opponent, you gain 200 life, so essentially Vlad's ruler. And you can tap this and move a 100/100 counter from target Resonator to this card. So you can remove it from, like, some of the other vampires that used counters that we've seen in this latest cluster. Like, you can use the Mikage one that we just saw there. It's kind of interesting, I feel like, because this is the Mikage sisters, but there's only 3 of them. And we know the Mikage has 4 daughters. I find it really interesting how he has 4 daughters, but only 3 are pictured here, and they are called the Mikage sisters. What about the 4th one? Does she not count? Is it going to be one of those situations again where the 4th daughter is not really his daughter and all this stuff? Like, similar to how Lapis is maybe not really Alhamat's son and everything like that? We don't know. I hope we find out pretty soon in the lore articles and everything like that. And then last but not least, I believe, yeah, I think this is the last one. The last card we have here is Ambition of Lapis, a 3-cost chant. It's 2 dark and 1 void. Pretty simple stuff. Destroy target Resonator. Its controller loses 400 life. So in a way, this is kind of like not the opposite of the Excalibur sword that we saw earlier on, that SR chant. This one is just you destroy something and the person who controls it loses 400 life, which is pretty nice. So you're like killing something and then your opponent has to lose life, whatever. And it kind of looks like a really, really weird artwork here. Like Lapis seems to be something like ghouls or spirits or like dark Cthulhu things. I'm not quite sure, because it says down here, combined with Ataratica, Lapis's power grew even stronger and so did his desire. So I feel like he's got this like hunger for power, but the more power he gets, the more he desires. And I think it's just going to be unsatiable and it's never going to stop unless they finally stop Lapis. I don't know how you would stop Lapis at this point, because obviously we're still playing catch up. The spoilers thus far have not spoiled who wins this final battle. All we know is that there's heroes, there's villains, and we don't know who wins yet. So I feel like there's a lot to play for here until we find some kind of definite resolution of who will actually win this battle. But anyway, guys, that's been my thoughts, my opinions on these spoilers. Let me know what you think of these later spoilers, guys. Are you leaning towards Well of Despair or Well of Hope? Or are you waiting to see if there's any other cards that don't fall in line with these that maybe you're interested in? The next spoilers will be out on Friday. I will obviously be travelling down to Birmingham for the Force of Will GP, so the video will still be going up on the Friday. Mark my words, it will still be going up. And the next time I will properly speaking to you in the current time or whatever would be Sunday for the vlog. But expect to see the Friday spoiler video coming out on Friday. And until next time, guys, I will see you all later.